I took a year off from my print on demand business and actually made more money than the previous year. In fact, my income went up by over 20% and I did absolutely nothing. I didn't raise prices, I didn't hire a virtual assistant, and I didn't do any advertising. I literally did nothing except for check my sales, and the reason is simple. I focused my entire business on just one niche. Now, this is going to go against a lot of the advice out there, but selecting a niche that you understand completely gives you a competitive edge over all the other hustlers out there cranking out garbage designs for random niches that they know nothing about. This all goes back to the very reason that a consumer would even buy one of your products in the first place, because on some level, the design resonates with who they are or who they'd like to be. It really is that simple. Let's go through the process of coming up with ideas to find a niche like that for yourself. If you're still at the stage where you don't believe that anyone is making sales in any niche, then this video is not for you. Lots of people are making lots of money. In the old days of print on demand, literally anything could sell, but two things have changed. First, the market is saturated with designs. And second, customers have gotten used to being able to find very niche products that appeal to an extremely small audience. You still have to appeal to a specific customer if you want to make a sale, but you need to do more than just throw something against the wall and hope that somebody buys it. Designs have gotten a lot better, customers have gotten a lot pickier. So, how do you find a niche that you can find long-term success in? I use a really simple process and I don't worry about how saturated the market is anymore, because unless a niche is brand new, everything is saturated. I focus on quality and getting a deep understanding of my customer. This video is about coming up with a niche. In a future video, I'll give you a detailed process on how to tailor your designs to that niche. So the first thing I do is I make a list of as many of the hobbies that I have or that I can think of and that I'm actually interested in. I'm not just looking for a list of things that somebody might do. I'm looking for things that I get, that I understand, that I might even be interested in myself. Then I list my current job, past jobs, jobs that anyone in my household or close friends, people who I can talk to or get a more understanding of how that particular job works, and things they might be interested in. Now on a piece of paper, I take out each one and I list the following. I list how much money it costs if it's a hobby, or how much money you make if it's a job. I list out any equipment or supplies, uniforms, etc. that the hobby or the job requires. Is there any education or school required? I list out classes, schools, courses that the person who practices in that job or hobby might need to complete. And then I think of the average age and gender of the person who does that hobby or that job. Now you can look this up if you need to. Now I take these big lists of things that I've found out about each of these niches and I compare them. What we just created is a very simple tool that big brands and companies use to better understand their customers, and it's called a customer avatar. Okay, so we came up with a list, we generated as many ideas as we could about that niche, and then how much money those customers might have. Now we use that information to narrow down on 2 or 3 niches that we think have the most potential. From here, it's finally time to see what else is out there. It's really important not to get discouraged if you find a ton of designs. That's actually a good thing when you start searching on the platforms you want to sell on, because that tells us that people are getting sales in those niches and that they're doubling down on what's working, and that means that we can probably get some of those sales too. I personally use a tool called Merch Informer for my niche research, and if you want to try it out, there's a link down below and a coupon code that'll save you 20% if you do decide to use the tool, but you can also do this manually just doing searches on Amazon. I have a video on how to do research without paid tools, which you can find up here. Now, all we're going to do is some simple searches for the niches that we identified using the keywords we generated when we came up with all the equipment they might use and the schools they might have to go to. Now, all we do is some simple searches for our niche using keywords that we generated when we were coming up with our big list. We look at the designs that land near the top of the page. In general, those are the best-selling designs. If you're searching on Amazon, check out my video on BSR to fully understand how the ranking works, and you can check out that video up here. But basically, the higher on the list, the lower the BSR, the more popular the design. At this stage, all we really are looking for is that there are designs, and how good are they, and what do they have in common. We want to know what colors they're using, what kinds of fonts they're using, design styles. Are they using design elements like images, or are they focusing just on text? Our goal is not to copy the other designs that are out there. That's not a good way to get ahead. We want to understand the market and the customer on an even deeper level. We want to take notes on our sheet about all the information that we're identifying, maybe take screenshots to save somewhere, and then we can compare these later when we decide to start designing. Before the general saturation of all the basic niches, I used to recommend digging for underserved niches and to add designs to those niches. That strategy can still work, but it requires a ton of upfront research, and you might end up creating designs for a niche that's just too small to support a whole business. Focusing on a niche you know and understand and a customer you know how to speak to can actually build you a really sustainable long term business. You can take this a step further and check out this video up here on how to analyze search results and create designs for the niche you just found.